The Giro d'Italia moves into the Valle d'Aosta and a third big summit finish. The hardest day of climbing, bar none today, with over 4,200 metres of climbing. Visma-Lease bike controlling all day, a furious battle for King of the Mountains points, but in the end the breakaway was thwarted. Jonas Vingegaard rode to the expected victory and he now leads the Giro d'Italia in pink. If you're watching on YouTube, like and do subscribe, that's very important. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Science in Sport. You can't miss SIS across the Grand Tours. And did you know they were the original sports nutrition company? They invented the first isotonic recovery drinks and gels, and their lab is where the first ever dual source gels were born. Their beta products are seen in the hands of cyclists across the Tours. SIS products were adopted by Team GB, and now 30 years later, over 400 pro, elite and Olympic teams trust Science in Sport. Hello, Jacopo.
Ciao, Ned.
It's nice to be talking to you. I've only been talking to you for the last 14 days, every single day for hour after hour.
What is the limit you start getting annoyed?
Well, no, you need to tell me that.
It's still fine.
Yeah, just about.
So far, so good.
Quite curious today, wasn't it? Because the race, so Aosta was the start, and Pila, the ski station where it finished, is just up, just outside the valley, the valley in which Aosta sits. So the race came through Aosta twice in a kind of ribbony formation, up and into the hills, back again, and up and as a result, our commentary position, which wasn't for logistical reasons at the top of the mountain, was down here in a car park, which also happens to be the car park where all the teams arrived earlier on this afternoon. So we had a chance to meet some, riders and staff that we know and have a chat with them. And right now, as you can see, the team buses are there. The race finished about an hour ago.
No, not really, because still I saw some high-placed riders coming from today's stage, coming now. So I think for the next 30 minutes we will be seeing a lot of riders coming to the buses, because there is a cable car that lets the public to the finish line, and many riders are using the very same one.
Do you think they'll come down in the cable car or the bike, or a bit of both?
I think everybody's with the cable car, to be fair.
Okay, so keep your eye out as you watch this podcast and see if you can spot some riders passing behind us. And if there's a particularly interesting rider, we'll just go and grab them and bring them over. Like Jonas Vingegaard or someone like that.
That'd be very awkward.
Super awkward. Where do we start? Where do we start with today?
One thing.
Go on.
One team.
Just one thing? One team?
Yeah. Visma-Lease bike.
Yep.
Today was their race. There was an image that struck for me. It was at the start line, you always have the same jersey, the 4 leaders jersey at the front. And then right behind you, all the remaining of the peloton and the riders, there were 4 jerseys of Visma-Lease bike already in their position, right behind the jersey, the leader jerseys. And right from the kilometer zero, it was a lead out. It was a 133 kilometer lead out from Visma-Lease bike. There was just, I think, for 10 kilometers, let's say, some help from Bahrain Victorious with Fran Miolovic. Despite that, just Visma-Lease bike the whole day in the peloton.
I've seldom seen that before. On a big mountain stage, a team do that send that much of a signal out. And it wasn't even the way they rode. Even before they stepped on their bikes, Jonas Vingegaard gave an interview to television in which he said, today I want to win the race and take the jersey. At which point, if anyone heard that messaging and word got round the peloton, you just go, blah.
No,
what's the point? What's the point in anything?
What were you expecting from such a stage? I mean, he had to do, and today the parkour was also calling. You just protect your rider by being at the front. You manage to do the descent at the best position, and they just want to make the race out. I think if they could race, today at the tempo they liked, they wanted, and at the same time allowing the breakaway to stay clear, they would have done. But it's just they rode so hard that it was not the case, and
yeah.
There was some implication, because for a moment I think we had, straight up it was uphill. We had a lot of attacks coming, and I think there were 30 riders for a moment.
I think Max maxed out at about 25, I think. Although maybe before that it was bigger. I mean, it was wildly uncontrolled in the first couple of kilometres as they came past that train of yellow riders. The first climb was a Category 1 climb, the San Barthélemy climb.
San Barthélemy, yeah.
Yeah, but very weird as a commentator today, because although we were at the Giro d'Italia, I had to make sure that I kind of adapted some of the pronunciations today. So I got, the professor who sits next to us, the mystery guy.
Yeah.
So he
told you all the...
Well, it was just me and him doing our prep while you were, chatting, doing agent things down here. And I kind of like had a quick word with him in my broken Italian, as you know, and I asked for help. And he said, I'm not from this region, Aosta, which has very specific pronunciations because of the combined history of France and Italy. But he said, I know, I've got a friend who comes from, so he phoned his friend. And he gave me his best guess, and then his friend completely corrected him because he got it all wrong. So it's quite a relief to me that the Italians actually didn't know how to pronounce some of the names.
It's not like, I mean, Val d'Aosta is the only region, the entirety of the region, the official language is French, or a derivation of French, because of course it was, you know, kind of melting with Italians, also mountainous dialect? How do you say?
Mountain dialect.
Dialect from the mountains.
Yeah.
And so it's a very unique, and today we had a hard time, so excuse us, people from Val d'Aosta, if we really mess it up with the names.
Yeah.
We tried our best.
Yeah, absolutely.
You more than me, definitely.
Well, there was one climb, the second climb of the day was a Cat 3 climb called Douai, but had an S on the end. And I think instinctively most Italians reached to pronounce the S, but no, it was more like Douai. Douai, like two.
It's also in French, you know. You have
great. I love this kind of
these very specific things, like there are rules and there are exceptions, a lot of exceptions, especially for the names of the cities.
Yes.
The best is Reims. It's written
Reims. It's just a noise, isn't it?
It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense at all.
Jacopo, incidentally, having raced for a French team for many years, speaks probably even better French than his English, which is kind of annoying. So, take it from the horse's mouth. But this character, the professor, I've been working with him for 4 or 5 years. I have no idea what he does every day.
Yes, they call him the professor.
They call him the professor.
So we don't know what he's actually doing. He's always wearing.
He's not commentating ever.
He always have a giant walkie-talkie.
Yeah, and he wears like a hunting jacket.
Yeah, hunting
like a hunting gilet, like with lots of pockets for little bits and pieces.
And the way he speaks also is very charm, very calm.
Yeah.
But the most weird thing the other day in Chiavari, we arrived quite early because we were on a seaside. We want to spend time in there. We saw him like he was on the side of the road with the 2 giant antennas. I don't know what he was doing. He was trying to connect with a pirate.
Aliens. I think he's trying to communicate with aliens. I think he believes in aliens.
I don't know who's on the other side of that walkie-talkie every day.
Exactly. Who's he talking to?
I don't want to know.
Well, I do want to know now.
No. I want to keep this like
the professor.
So I can guess, you know, and always be a very weird and wrong guesses.
Anyway, kilometre 0. Saved up this Saint Barthélemy climb.
Yeah, it was long, 15.
15.5 kilometres. Pretty hard. Cat 1 climb, 40 King of the Mountains points. And that was key to the way that the breakaway behaved itself today, wasn't it? Because limited chance, given what Jonas had told everybody about the stage victory, no way was the break going to go to the line. But a ton of King of the Mountains points today, and only yesterday or the day before were we complaining about the King of the Mountains competition just not sparking into life. The Giro normally has a very active and interesting King of the Mountains competition, and quite often it's won by riders like Lorenzo Fortunato last year or Giulio Ciccone back in the day, you know. So it's quite often quite keenly contested and fought for. Hadn't really happened up until today, where all of a sudden 4 riders got in that big breakaway and they started to really sort of like punch each other in the face for those major points, because there were 2 Cat 1 climbs before the finish.
1 Cat 3 and 1 Cat 2.
Which are both worth 40 points. So like straight away, you know, Diego Sevilla, who turned himself inside out for 3 days to be the King of the Mountains leaving Bulgaria, like he got 26 points or something in Bulgaria. Straight away in 1 climb, they've almost doubled it. Yeah. So suddenly the game changes completely.
And it was the 4 riders you mentioned that were pretty much involved in this was Van der Lee from EF, the very young Dutch climber. Ciccone, as expected, you know.
He played a cool game, actually, Ciccone.
Yeah, he was
a little bit.
He was smart.
He wasn't going mad for all the minor points. He was just being quite targeted.
Arieta also he fancied to try. I don't know the next days, but I think those 3, especially Van der Lee, Ciccone, at the end of the day, they're going to be the closest to Vingegaard.
I know Rubio's moved up a little bit, but maybe not.
Those, I think they're going to be the guys who are going to be involved in this. Van der Lee managed himself to win the very first one because he was clear ahead of everybody else with Jan Christen.
Yeah.
Those dude riders, and then...
That was a bit like... So Jan Christen did 10 kilometres of that climb off the front with Jardy van der Lee simply on his wheel, and Christen didn't ask for any support and he didn't get anything either. So he towed Jardy van der Lee all the way to 100 metres to the top of the climb. And we were 50. And we were saying, is he going to come round? Is he going to come round and take those 40 points? Can he do that? And
eventually
did.
He did. He asked sorry, but then rewatching he asked sorry.
He kind of went, I'm sorry I've just done that. It was
for
really,
another reason, I guess, because the moment he was taking off, Jan Christian was moving on the right, on the left, sorry.
So it could have touched wheels.
Yeah, so I think it was like, I know I'm doing already something wrong, plus I don't want to take you down, so sorry for that. But he got the points eventually, and second was Jan Christian, and behind the other remaining of the attackers was Ciccone, sprinter for this.
Yeah.
Then they all matched together, where a very interesting subplot of today, Jonathan Narvaez was present.
So, I just want to say, right, if I'd been a DS on that team bus there this morning, because before we started commentating, I said, didn't I? Yeah. I said today, I think Jonathan Narvaez has a really good chance of taking the Maglia Ciclamino.
He was seated only 11 points down on Paul Manier, and there was 12 points available at the intermediate, which was coming very early.
But only after a Cat 1 climb, where Paul Manier has no chance of surviving. So this is an opportunity for Narvaez to get in the move. If he does, give me the points, hand them to me.
And he did it. He did it beautifully, because he managed to have Arieta and Jan Christian with him. They controlled the momentum, they controlled the pace. They arrived there only Garofoli, because he's a teammate of
poor Gianmarco Garofoli.
He has nothing but a little punch. He doesn't have nothing to do anything.
The Soudal Quickstep DSs would have been saying to him, Gianmarco, Narvaez is going to take the jersey from Paul. You have to try and out sprint him, and he did. He tried, but it's just not in the same league.
It was just like he do for saying I did.
Yeah.
You know, and then eventually Narvaez got it, and he moved ahead of Paul Manier just 1 point. Tomorrow everything can be reshuffled again, because for the victory is 50 points. The sprint stage will come that later. But he moved himself. We haven't seen the ceremony, because then he was eventually dropped by job done, jersey acquired in a way. Then he was dropped by everybody else, and he finished probably a few minutes ago.
I mean, if Paul Manier wins the sprint into Milan tomorrow, everything changes, and it kicks back massively in favour of Paul Manier. But you know, if it doesn't, for whatever reason it goes wrong, and he's third or fourth, and his haul of points is quite modest, then we have a real battle on our hands, because there are multiple stages remaining where Narvaez can play that trick again, and he can go over some climbs that will drop Manier, pick up those 12 points at the intermediate, and that might be enough. You never know.
And not just that, he also have a couple of stages where it can suit him very well. The stage 2 Andalo and the stage 2
for the victory.
For the victory.
So like 25 points in the bank.
It's not impossible. For Manier, 2 stages. For Narvaez, 2 stages plus the bonus, the intermediate. So it's open. It's hanging in there. He did with a purpose today, not just waiting by one day, I think.
Yeah.
If he has a chance, he's going to go for it.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the story of the breakaway, which eventually got to the foot of the Pilar climb with 2 minutes 20, something like that.
Yeah, something like this. It was by that time it was much more reduced. 12 riders, if I'm guessing correctly. Yeah. Before that, we saw Team Rex digging so deep. Teammate of Jonas Vingegaard digging so deep. He was closing his eyes and screaming in silence. Because he's not actually screaming, but just the mouth wide
open. I have never seen a rider look like that. I mean, I've never seen. He looked like he was. He looked like he was literally screaming in pain. Yeah. His mouth was wide open, his eyes were, and he's just in total agony. He's a big lad, isn't he? The Belgian from the right down the bottom right-hand corner of Belgium, that weird bit of Belgium where they speak German, which is kind of interesting. It interests me as a German speaker. But I'd like to interview him one day in German to see how weird his German sounds, because I bet it sounds weirdly Belgian.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, his language has got nothing to do with this, except for when he was shouting, because he would have been shouting German expletives, I imagine. But it was the third from last and the penultimate climb that he did both of them, didn't he, on the front?
But amazing.
And then the valley.
Yeah, he did the valley, then the first one, the valley, then the intermediate, and this third last climb, where you think he cannot do it. It's impossible. But he managed to do it. It was another first category climb where in the KUM was Ciccone, crossing the line in first ahead of Rubio.
Yes.
Rubio. And nonetheless, he succeeded. He was then eventually, he stopped working, but it was amazing because the commitment he showed was incredible. Later on, we went.
He got to the bottom of the Pilar climb, didn't he? And
he got to the bottom of the second category one. It was Bartlemen who got to the bottom of the Pilar climb.
You're right. Yeah.
It's
already mangled in my head.
But
when he got to that climb, he did 50 meters of it, didn't he?
And then
he
was standing still. standing still.
And Davide Piganzoli, who'll become a story later, an amazing story, he just acknowledged it, didn't he? As he dropped away, he just gave him a pat on the back and went, thumbs up. And then he came to a total standstill, Tim Rex. He's probably still there somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Lost in somewhere in Aosta, all on his own, poor lad.
Nonetheless, then after this, there was a brief moment as we reached the bottom of Pila, and then the group was already quite reduced. The peloton of the Maglia Rosa, Pellizzari was still there, always hanging at the back of this peloton, very reduced Maglia Rosa group. And then it was about, again, Visma-Lease bike show. In the front, the riders started attacking one each other, but nobody really had the legs to move clear. We saw Wout Poels, he was dropped, came back, attacking himself, getting dropped again. It was just nonsense at the front.
Yeah.
There was nobody who really had the legs. They're just attacking one each other, but like,
do you know what I felt that was like at that point? Because it was so hopeless, wasn't it? I mean, they all knew that they had no chance. And a lot of those guys are coming towards the end of their career a little bit as well. There's some real old experience there. Wout Poels is the oldest rider. Do you know, it felt like, I don't know if you've ever been to an event like this, but it felt like the end of a wedding reception where like everyone's had too much to drink and it's just the uncles like left like that. And they're just, and like suddenly like they're remembering that they had an argument 20 years ago, like, and they're just staggering around and a fight breaks out.
You're a very bad person.
And they're just like, do you know what I mean? They're just throwing punches at each other.
Just because they old. Show some more respect to the old guys.
But it is, isn't it? They're trying to land punches on each other. And the punches just flying past them like that. They had nothing left to give. And behind, Bart Lemon set the early pace for Visma-Lease bike. When he was done, it was Campenaerts who took over, did a good 4 kilometers, I would have said, on the front. That was the moment, even with Campenaerts, where Eulálio suddenly, you thought, this isn't going to work today.
In there. Then Sepp Kuss took over. And first was...
didn't do an amazing Sepp Kuss. Normally you're so used to Sepp Kuss doing phenomenal... And it's quite interesting, they flipped the order as well. So now Piganzoli is the last rider.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Because also it was seated much more upright in a much up front in the general classification. He was 13 at the start this morning. But nonetheless, Sepp Kuss didn't dramatically change the ship, but Ben O'Connor was gone.
We've seen a lot of riders go. Derek G. West.
Chris
Harper.
Chris Harper, which I called Ben Harper. I knew that would have happened eventually during the stage.
That's okay. Those three in particular, I think. But then...
Eulálio also started to getting dropped. Pellizzari in that moment. He was getting dropped when Piganzoli then eventually started. It didn't last long, Piganzoli, but it did an immense damage. He dropped Bernal. He dropped Jai Hindley, he dropped Harrisman, and for a brief moment there was just Piganzoli, Vingegaard, and then there was
Felix Gall,
the only one able to resist there.
4.6k to go, the man in blue, Jonas Vingegaard, it wasn't like Piganzoli was done.
No.
Maybe he just slowed a little bit, and maybe Vingegaard felt that the pace wasn't just quite where he wanted it to be. So it wasn't one of those big moves off the shoulder of a rider who's pulling dramatically. That wasn't how it played out. But he just went, didn't he? He went, and this time Gall did what Gall does, but this time he didn't have the same effect, and he didn't have the same legs, and he just watched that blue jersey go this time.
And as Vingegaard was moving away from Felix Gall, Piganzoli, for quite a long time actually, for 1 good kilometer, even more, was able to stay on the wheel of Felix Gall, and eventually got dropped as well after done an immense job. He was rejoined by Jai Hindley, coming from behind, and a resurrection from Giulio Pellizzari.
I mean, that was the bit.
It was very far.
I remember in commentary, you just went,
how is it possible?
How? Because Pellizzari was gone. Hindley had left him. Like it looked like Hindley was off in pursuit of Felix Gall and might get there, and all of a sudden, bang, the shot changes and Pellizzari's back. Mystifying. So he had such a hard race to read Giulio Pellizzari today. From 1 minute good, 1 minute bad, but I mean, in the end, a resurgent bit of form from Giulio Pellizzari, who's moved himself from 9th. Well, we'll see the general classification in a bit, but much better day for Giulio Pellizzari.
At the end, it was a good day. So we had Vingegaard crossing the line. This time, Felix Gall didn't quite have the legs to match. And one thing I pointed out was today, Vingegaard looked in control. Not like blockouts, definitely not like the time trial. He was in control. Good face, smiling, relaxed, controlled.
The moustache and the beard, they're coming on nicely.
He never showed a grimace on his face. It was always composed. So I think he's been feeling much better. Probably the heat. He likes more the heat than the cold. This is a definitely sure thing. But nonetheless, he crossed the line some 49 seconds after Felix Gall reached the point. Jai Hindley, 10 seconds after, 58, something like this.
He's got, Jai has that, and he did it when he won the Giro, 3 years ago. he's got that ability in the final 200, 300 metres to make a bit of a difference. And once again, he took a 5-second gap over the group that he'd left, including his teammate Pellizzari.
Piganzoli was fourth.
And Piganzoli comes round Pellizzari. It's quite difficult, isn't it, Piganzoli, Pellizzari, but we'll get there. And Hindley has been picking up consistently. He's been picking up time bonuses, and in quite a potentially congested battle for the podium, could be significant. The way he's got that extra gear.
Obviously, this stage reshaped, not dramatically. I mean, of course, the lead of the jersey, because Eulálio at the end, he defends quite good, maybe to the thanks of Damiano Caruso. We haven't seen really much, but they were together, and he conceded 250, I think, from Vingegaard, because all the Romanian, they were from 1 minute on.
Koen, we're having our photograph taken here. Koen, come here, just very briefly, stand in front of, I want everybody at home to know that this is the man who directs the pictures that you've been watching at the Giro d'Italia. He's the main guy, the director. Koen.
Hello, hi.
Yeah.
It was a nice day today,
It was a very nice day today.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
How are the Dutch riders doing?
I expected more of Arendsman, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, it's not his day today. I thought this line was suiting him, but no, not too bad.
He's the man responsible. See you tomorrow, Koen.
Enjoy.
Joe, cheers. So that was kind of it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good defense by Eulálio, which still managed to be second in the GC after today's stage. He's still in Maglia Bianca, best young. And bit of a change, because now we have Vingegaard in pink, Eulálio in white.
It's pretty amazing. He's second on GC, isn't it?
Vingegaard.
Let's have a look at the general classification, actually, just to get a real shape of how all of this looks.
And Piganzoli is in there.
Yeah, well, look at Davide Piganzoli. There you go. I nearly messed it up. He's nudged himself up into the top 10. A good day for Giulio Pellizzari, who's lifted himself from 9th up to, is it 5th or 6th? 6th, thank you very much. I'm doing this blind. I know you're seeing it. And Eulálio holding on to second place, still with 24 seconds over Felix Gall, who moves above Timo Arendsman, the Dutch rider that Koen was just talking about. Other than that, a good day for Jai Hindley, I think.
Yeah. It was, I think they were sick. They said they were having some health problems. So it's good to be seeing both Pellizzari and Jai Hindley back in the game. So more to come from the next stage. We know we have one rider above everybody else, it's Vingegaard. But the remaining, there is a big fight for the podium. Never know. I think we are in for some very interesting last week, and not because tomorrow there is not a stage, but nothing for the GC contenders.
Zero.
Like the altitude difference at tomorrow's stage.
Let's have a look at the course of stage. What is it? 15. Is it 15? 15. Okay, let's have a look at that. A 1-star stage from Voghera. Is that how you pronounce it? Voghera. To Milano. And it's completely flat. I mean, this is the flattest part of Italy, bar none, isn't it?
It is. So nothing of some sort except one good detail. Okay, the intermediate sprint very likely gonna go to a breakaway, I guess. Maybe nobody will be featuring a breakaway, which will be my experience.
Tarozzi.
Yeah.
Tarozzi has to be in the battle for the intermediate sprint standing.
We'll see.
Okay. There's the sprint at Pavia. Pavia, not Pavia.
No,
okay.
Pavia, where the Milan Sanremo was starting in a recent time.
Of course it is, yeah.
And then they're going to head into Milano, where we had a circuit. And a circuit always often offers a little bit more stress than, when you just cross the line one time. So four laps for the riders in Milano.
16 kilometers to circuit. Good
normally
for the spectators.
on wide road, but it's good for the spectators, good for the riders that can see what the circuit look like. But we're in for a big day off for the sprinters tomorrow.
And the profile is absolutely flat. Yeah, big day for the sprinters. Jonathan Milan will be under huge pressure. He's even got the right name for the city, hasn't he? I mean, it's just to add the pressure to,
He should.
Milan in Milan. The headlines are all written for him.
If he's coming back on a much stronger form, it can be the problem for Guarnieri for the Maglia Ciccone.
I know he's not out. He's not out of it. 50 points and everything changes all of a sudden.
Because it's a dramatic difference from the first, second, and third.
Sure. Yeah. Very interesting. I'd love to give you some food news because yesterday we discussed in detail what we'd eaten up at the Lake Maggiore, but it didn't do it today. We're in a car park. Had to go to a supermarket. I did, so nothing to write home about.
No. Higher expectation tomorrow in Milan. We have usually what we do is checking once we are on place what's available, but it's Milan. Might be also some Deliveroo, something that can bring you food. We'll try to sort out something.
Great. That's good to hear. And also, I'm thrilled that this evening, all being well, I am reunited with my passports, which I lost in Abruzzo.
I thought for a moment I'm reunited with my daughter.
Oh yeah, I'm also
But-
seeing my daughter. Yeah, she's coming over. My family. Yeah, but more importantly, I need my passport. And
I hope she doesn't see this. I hope she doesn't see this.
She's not going to be watching a cycling podcast. Don't you worry about that. Some other people have been watching them though. I think we've got some comments. Fat guy in a red ascot says that he's new to this podcast, but he's been really enjoying the culinary and cultural discussions that we've been undergoing. So that's good, isn't it? I mean, I think it's just you and me talking about what makes us happy, to be honest. But,
I mean, it's not a live commentary, so I mean, the Giro d'Italia and cycling itself is a sport that takes place on the road. So
Yeah.
we have to talk what we see on the road.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, and because we are parked up here, I told you that just over there actually is the Net Company Ineos team bus. And I met up with a chap that is very famous in cycling that I haven't seen for many years actually, face to face, Dave Brailsford. And we had a chat for 20 or 30 minutes. Actually not about cycling. He was incredibly entertaining about football because he's been lost to football for 4 years. First with Nice and of course then famously with Manchester United. But I can't even repeat some of the stuff that he told me about Manchester United. It was fascinating. But basically he said, I was looking at cycling from the outside as a football, working football, and this is what I missed. Everything like the mountains, the freedom, the road, the unexpected encounters, the fact that you bounce around like a ball in a pinball machine. You never quite know where you're going to be the next day, and the randomness of it. The whole journey is what he missed, and you don't get that with football.
Yeah, because it's a journey. Cycling, it is a journey. You're moving across the country. So, as you said, you're moving around, a lot of things can happen. So that's the beauty of cycling. Probably that's what he was missing.
Exactly. And I hope you're enjoying it as well. Do keep spreading the word about For the Love of Cycling. And and if you haven't done it already, please do subscribe. It really helps us. Anyway, we'll see you all tomorrow from the streets of Milan. But for now,
It's ciao.
this podcast is proudly sponsored by Science in Sport. You've seen Beta fuel gels and recovery drinks in the hands of the riders. Now it's your chance to get your hands on some SIS goodies. If you spot Science in Sport on TV or in a photo, clip it, post it, share it, tag Science in Sport on Instagram, and include #LoveOfCycling in the caption. This will give you a chance of winning a 3-month Beta fuel hamper, perfect for a training block, courtesy of our friends at Science in Sport.